Welcome to another episode of The Real Podcast with Eric Lacho and Nico Del Giorno. We have an awesome guest again for you today, Miss Sarah Weber. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've done a whole bunch of different things. I think I met you actually when you were selling cars, but you were also doing movies then as well.
Yes.
So just give us a little breakdown. What's up?
Oh my gosh. I can't give you all the jobs I've had.
That's fair. Just give us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing now, and we'll jump into it from there.
Yeah. So as always, have a few things going on right now. Work for doing acquisitions for real estate for one company. Do acquisitions training and coaching for my own real estate company. Still acting, still modeling, have my own YouTube channel where I talk all about self-development, spirituality, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
I think that's all I've got going on right now.
Okay.
That's a lot. I thought I was busy. Yeah.
So YouTube channel, doing some acting. You were in, I feel like, right before I started Honest Home Solutions, you were like in a movie that was on.
Yeah, the one on Amazon. And It's actually still on there, but it's so weird. Like I look so different now. But yeah, it's called Nomad.
Okay.
So that was kind of like a no budget type of indie film that I got cast for. It was super fun. Yeah, I mean, I was working a full-time job, another job I had where I was working in Center City, Philly, and then filming was like an hour and a half away. So I was getting up, going to the gym at like 4 a.m., going to my full-time job, and then driving about an hour and a half to set, filming until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and then doing it all over again for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's exhausting.
Hustler mentality.
I hope they paid you well, even though there was no budget.
Yeah.
Just here too.
Yeah.
So
thanks for coming. Here's some
what do you?
You know what? Though? That's how it is.
How we go on? We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you guys are doing great. Here's a couple pizzas.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When you're first starting out in that type of industry, it is it's a lot of money lost or trying to like network and make a name for yourself. So
like in that situation when you were doing that movie's not even bought by anybody yet. Right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So then they'll pick it up for pennies on the dollar, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So there's a few things that you can do with things like that. So we would enter it into a few different film festivals and stuff. There's actually one in New York. I was nominated for the Best Lead Actress for that film, which was cool. I didn't win, but I was still pumped.
Yeah. Hey, nomination's good.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll take it.
I'll tell you right now, if I was nominated for the Heisman, I'd be pumped too. Even if I won or not, I don't care.
I don't know that I'm compared to that.
Whatever. It's still a nomination. But, whatever. It's close enough.
Yeah, you get your name called.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
You're good. You're good. Shit. You're good.
Cool. You never know.
Yeah.
Yes. We try not to like be over the top with it.
That's fair.
But at the same time, we say what we're thinking.
I've had a potty mouth since I was very young, so I always try to make sure.
No, you're good to go.
No, that's why it's called The Real Podcast. It is very no holds barred, having conversations and let it rip. Yeah. Let it rip. Just let it rock.
So with all the different things that you're doing, obviously I think that there's some awesome stuff that goes along with like being pulled and capable of doing so many different things. Mm-hmm. But like, where's your focus at? And I mean, they're so different from talking training acquisitions to doing acquisitions to
acting.
Yeah. I mean, that falls.
I mean, that's also kind of part of acquisitions.
I wouldn't say Yeah, I mean,
well, it's funny you say that because I make a lot of correlations between acting and reading scripts and stuff and sales.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely, whenever I do like trainings and things like that, I'm like, write the script out, do it this way. And I'm like, oh, I learned that from like acting training.
Yeah, and also just the improvisation.
Improv. Yeah, no, you're right.
That wasn't the way you're supposed to say it, but we all understood what you were saying.
Improv.
Yeah, the improv there, yeah. But I mean, it's true because you got to, like, I mean, we've talked about it. You've been in, adapt. You walk in and you're like, wow, I'm a huge Eagles fan, but they have Steelers stuff. Man, how about them Steelers? No, absolutely not. Yeah.
When I sold cars, I sold Mazdas, and no matter what car they were coming to look at, that was the car I owned.
Yep.
I mean,
wow, I had one of them.
And you have to make connections, and I think that's probably very real with acting as well. Like, you can tell. I always feel like when you watch low budget movies or no budget movies on any of the streaming services, a lot of times the biggest thing that I see is that, like, the acting, it doesn't feel real.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's like, when you watch The Notebook, which I've watched a few times, sadly.
Of all of the movies, that is the one. I'm
just putting in perspective.
Okay,
like
that's
a connection.
Fine. Yeah,
like their connection in that movie. The reason it's such a good movie is because of their connection.
Right.
Like the way that they don't actually feel that, but you believe that like they're completely sold on that whole relationship.
Yeah.
It's hard to throw Wedding Crashers in there for connection. Like, I mean, Owen Wilson crushes it, but you gotta
embody that character. That's what they call kind of like method acting. I was telling them before you got here that I have a film coming up that will be the biggest film I've ever done, like going in theaters and everything like that. And so for one of the auditions I had to do, without giving too much away from the film, there's a wood chipper that it's a serial killer, and he puts his victims in a wood chipper.
Okay.
So
sounds interesting. What is it, the Terrifier? Because I've watched Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2 on Netflix, and they are beyond no budget films. They're like below that. They paid to be there.
Yeah, but when we were doing like the auditions and stuff, the scene they gave me is like, you don't get to choose which scene you audition with. So they gave me one where the killer's coming after me. No. But I'm crawling around it, right? And then I stumble on my dead friend's decapitated head. Oh. And so with this type of audition, though, you don't get any props. You don't have any other people in the scene. So I'm literally just crawling around on the floor.
And there's nothing.
There's nothing.
That's weird. So there's nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
And you're in a space that's like smaller than the area we're set up in. And so I had to come running in from like the wall. And then I'm like, okay, well, how do I embody this character? So I had to imagine like someone that I care about's head being decapitated in front of me. So I had to call my brother after and say, I really imagined you being decapitated, and it got me in it.
That's wild.
It is crazy.
So now let me ask you a question from an actor standpoint.
Okay.
Why in horror films are all the white girls tripping and falling? Constantly, literally always. They always trip and fall. Like, what? First of all, look where you're running. You know he's behind you, or she, or whoever's coming after you is behind you. Look where you're running and stop tripping. I guarantee you'll get away. It is constant.
It is always. I actually don't find horror movies actually too scary.
No, I think they're hilarious.
Oh, I can't deal with it. Like, I'm not going to be able to watch this film when it's
I don't like watch. See, I don't like. So I don't consider gore horror.
I agree.
Like, agree. People think that I just find that gross, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really want to see anybody get chopped up.
Like Saw
like that's
and
not,
all of
those
those
things.
I
mean, don't watch this movie then when it's
like that's. But I love suspense.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I love like thrillers and suspense movies where, and if there's like a little bit of
like
gore in that. No, not like The Notebook.
Well, you don't know what's going to happen at the end.
You don't know. You never know. It's a good, nice play there, sir. But what's that movie with Denzel Washington? Oh, The Bone Collector.
Yes. That's an old one, and that's a great
never seen
one.
it, but
but it's not that gory. But it's very suspenseful.
Yep.
There's a little bit of gore in it, but like the movie's not based around gore,
right?
And I just can't get into like just like people just getting chopped up all the time.
Yeah,
that's just I'm just like.
No, I can't do blood like at all.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's going to be a very interesting process to go through.
Yeah, like
well, at least it's not real blood.
And
if it is, then you should probably call somebody.
How long does acting like? I mean, how long does filming on that take?
So for this one, it's a trilogy, and we're filming them all at once. So say, for example, like the first movie, the three movies. Yeah.
3 movies.
3 movies.
Okay.
So say like,
Filming all at once.
All at once. So you do it by location. So you rent this location, and no matter, like, you film all the scenes from all the movies that are in that location, and then you move on to the next location. It's like a cost savings type of thing.
Is it
so
is
it'll
it
take
local?
about 4 months. No, it's in New Jersey.
Okay.
We were going to film it in California, but their tax laws and stuff out there, they charge you more to be filming in
California's whack.
Yeah.
Jersey it is.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, summertime in Cali is probably pretty good, but I hate California. Just ever seen about it?
I've never been there.
Oh, I love it.
Do you?
Very different opinions here.
I just can't for that reason. For all the like, it is so.
Well, I think politically, it's different. But like, if you take all of that out,
like the business side of it, the outside of multi-billion-dollar companies that are there, like it's hard to have a small business in California. But if you got a tech company that's a multi-billion-dollar company, then it doesn't really matter. Yeah, like you can. I mean, I love San Diego weather. I'd live there all the time.
The weather is unmatched.
Yes, you can't beat that.
It's so amazing.
Northern California is kind of cold. California's a really big state.
Yeah,
you've been there to like most of Cali?
Yeah, so I have family out in the Carmel area. It's about 2 hours south of San Francisco, so it's not like totally up north, but it's up there.
Yeah.
They actually own a small business out there.
Okay.
So a really nice restaurant in Carmel by the sea. But it does get chilly out there.
Yeah.
I was like, come move out here. I'm like, if I'm moving to California,
I'm not
moving into 60-degree weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
I totally agree. Never done.
Like, it's beautiful, but no, I'm a warm weather gal.
That's fair. So with that, acting has been a big part of your life for quite a while.
Yeah.
I do remember at one point, so you use social media a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember at one point you lost your whole social media.
Yeah, that was awful. Never recovered.
No?
No, but you know what? I kind of gave up on it. I was so unmotivated. That was my Instagram. It was hacked right at the beginning of COVID.
I remember you posting something.
How does that happen? Just out of curiosity. Like, I see these people, it's like they have a normal Instagram.
Nobody wants your Instagram. That's why.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, they're like, this guy's pretty boring. Like, he's got 4 things. He's a dad, an investor, entrepreneur, and a bunch of cars. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
So what they do is they somehow hack your system. At that time, I had about 65,000 followers.
Wow.
And that was about 4 years ago. And what they do is they hack it, they lock you out. Instagram was no help to me. I never got it back. And they delete all of your content. So now you can sell this account that's blank that has 65 or however many followers.
Because you can buy, people actually build their accounts and then they'll sell them.
I sometimes get messages about that. They'll be like, hey, let me build it.
Do you have a lot of followers on Instagram?
No, but I have, I've had people maybe once or twice. One is I get people that are like, hey, you have great content. You should, take my course to, I don't care about it that much. Or 2, I've had people say like, hey, I have this account and this account. It's got 100,000 and 60,000. You can buy it. And then you have, but it's like at that point, like I understand it, but it's also hard because if that, so let's say for instance, you like, I know you're big with with YouTube and things like the things that you do. Your followers are probably a hell of a lot different than what my followers are. So it's like, what? I mean,
you have to buy
it's
something
great.
that's similar to close to your industry. And like, there's actually like a website you can go to find things that are like close to your industry, so that like those followers aren't misdirected. Because if you have somebody that does makeup, and they do 100,000, they have 100,000 followers, and then you're like, oh yeah, Lamborghini's dude,
right?
It's not going to work.
It was a waste of money.
And it's always
65,000 before you lost your Instagram. They were like not a lot. Like, they were pretty engaged.
They were super engaged. And that was back when I was doing like full on fitness content. Like I was doing workouts, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, if they sell it to someone who, does cars or makeup or something.
Doesn't really.
It's not going to be, yeah.
Some people have 150,000 followers, but minimal engagement.
Yeah, right. I love when I see that. Like, I have
like,
200,000 followers,
no
and
comments.
you go on. It's 7 hearts and 1 comment from your mom. Yeah. It's like sick.
You're doing great, honey.
I'm so proud of you.
So proud.
Exactly.
That's when you know it's a scam.
Yeah,
they bought somebody's makeup thing.
Yeah, or I think you used to be able to. So like way back in the day, I had a company with a partner, and I ended up selling my portion because it was like towards the end of my college, and it was like and after I gave up like my portion of it, we had maybe like 1,200, 2,000 followers. Like, it was still a new business. And then this guy starts running it, and next thing I know, I see like 3 weeks later, he's got like 400,000 followers. And I was like, well, this doesn't seem very right. Even now, like, sometimes I'll pop over just to kind of see like what he's doing. And he's got still, 400,000 or 500,000 followers. And I go on his first picture that, like, I'll go maybe 2 weeks, and it's like 23 likes and no comments. And I'm like,
looks so bad.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous. and the likes are like people from like Indonesia.
Yeah.
Or Zimbabwe.
For sure. Yeah. And then you look at like who they're following, and it's like who's following them, and the names are like,
exactly.
Like a shit ton of letters.
Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy.
So with your YouTube channel, obviously, I always think that when people have hustles, minus like a few people that we know,
we were literally talking about that before this. It's
when you're
like
stretched all over.
Yeah, you have all the
none of
hustles,
them
and
make
none
sense
of them do anything
to tie into each other.
Off of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that kind of what we were saying with acting and acquisitions. I don't like to call acquisitions acting, because I feel like it's really hard to, like, over a time period of 20, 30, 45 days with a client, if it's, you actually don't care,
right,
and actually have like real synthetic empathy, or that it is seen. I think in car sales you could like
act, because it's right then,
quick,
right there.
You know what I mean?
Well,
You're done.
You're not really dealing. I mean, you are sometimes, but like with what all of us do with acquisitions and real estate, like there's a lot of emotions involved.
Yeah.
You don't really have that as much with like car sales.
Yeah.
Now, when I was the general manager at an LA Fitness for a while, just another job, and and like there's a lot of emotions with that kind of sales too, because people are coming in, they're not healthy, they look like shit, or want to lose weight, or whatever it is. So it's different, I would say. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying it more. I think the initial.
But no, but I just,
there's a
part of the connection part that you have to to be able to be adaptable within the first 45 minutes. I think there is things that you need to be able to pick up on. I think that is why I told you this when you first started, is my perfect acquisitions agent
is me.
No, it's me.
It's me. I said that. No, but no, honestly, is somebody that has some that has some life experience. Because I think it's really hard to do acquisitions without, like, so you've done a lot of things. So you've met a lot of different people. Like, I came from the restaurant industry, and it's, and bartending, and like my whole life was spent shooting the shit with random ass people, and trying to save situations when they were pissed off that the food took too long, or, the bar's 4 deep on a Friday night, and you're like trying to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
From, Bourbon Street and Hardware Bar in Harrisburg to, the Ocean Air in DC. So from every level of clientele. But without those things, it's really hard. Like, you can see things around the house, and you can like try to make connections, but you've had to spend time doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and without life experience, like, you do a lot of different things. So like, you meet a lot of different people that probably are acting. You meet a lot of people that reach out to you on YouTube. Probably some of them are weird. So probably some of them are. I couldn't even imagine. I can't imagine.
I always say to my parents, I really like wish they hadn't raised me with morals, because like I'd be living large.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Like in this thing, it's insane. Like honestly, it's. Yeah. I was just talking to someone about that the other day. They were like, "Do you know how much money I can make for just pictures of my feet?"
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Oh yeah, people ask me for like my dirty socks like all the time, like to sell them like dirty socks.
What? I would be shipping them shit.
Dog. I'd have a whole ass warehouse.
It's
just be walking around the warehouse.
Like, I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like,
it is very kind of weird.
It's super weird, but at the same time, like I would have just a P.O. box, so no one knew where I lived, and I'd be like,
I mean, the opportunity's there.
It's crazy, but.
I don't know if the opportunity's there for us.
No, I don't.
Meeting lots of different people and then weirdos online.
I was like, how did we get to OnlyFans and toes from acquisitions? But here we go. You know. But anyway, what I was saying with that is I think that there's a lot that you can learn from life experience. And you don't have kids, right?
No
kids yet. So with that, doing all the different things that you've done really helps to be able to connect, because a lot of people that we deal with, they like to talk about kids or grandkids or, you know, sports or memories and different things like that. So if you don't have the ability to connect on other avenues,
right,
it becomes really difficult. And I think that is part of the almost acting part of it, is that the connection on things that might not be that important to you starts to build that relationship. Right. And then as people open up to you, the real empathy and the real sympathy. And you know, start, because like when you meet somebody even when you're like in a relationship with somebody, your initial conversation is not like, it has minimal depth. It's very surface level.
Yeah. You need to like break through the layers.
Yeah. And the only way to do that is like tell bad dad jokes at the bar. Got that down.
I love dad jokes. I'm a huge fan. So.
Yeah. That's how it works.
There you go.
But like, you know, you go out, you break surface level conversation with Den once, and I've told you a million times what I think is the best closer. But it's the person that at 21, 22 years old had enough confidence to go to the bar, meet somebody, break the trust of like. Break the wall of trust of like, is this guy okay? Is this guy not okay? Is this girl okay? Is it like, you know, be able to have that conversation.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. Overcome that, like, and, you know, and be a closer.
Yeah.
But like, because it's a very similar surface level, then deeper, than, okay, this person's
always safe. Even this way, like you were talking about, you can tell when actors have chemistry and when they don't.
Right.
It's the same thing when you first get on set with someone, like there's nothing. And you have to like build that connection as you're going through filming and learning who you are as a person, getting into your character. So there are a lot of similarities.
Yeah. And some people have minimal connection capabilities.
Yeah.
Which is even harder. Like,
I also feel like I was going to say, as far as like the acting side of things, like that's why I think, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, but just from what you just said is like, a lot of times you see in movies, actors have the same actors in those movies.
Oh, the what? Yeah.
Because they probably already, I mean, once you've built that relationship, you're able to.
Adam Sandler has his best friends in every movie.
Every single movie. But I mean, wouldn't you though? Like if you made it and you knew like, wow, I'm super, like I know if I was,
right?
Huh? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like those are the things because you know it's simple, you know it's easy, you have the connection, and it's like, wow, now it's not acting. It's acting,
but it's a good time too.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. And it's not like you're trying to force it. You have the ability of just being able to.
And I feel like it can be like that with sales too. Like you can really make that initial connection with a client, build that rapport, and then like I don't know about you guys, but I've walked away with a lot of friends over the years.
Oh,
like,
for sure, tons, 100%.
And I mean,
and honestly, because they could tell we cared about what the next. You know what I mean? Like there's a reality to the situation of we need to make money.
Yeah,
but I think that at the end of the day, when you're honest, 100% of the time, you're going to make money. But I think that at the end of the day, when you're honest, 100% of the time, you're going to make money. But I think that at the end of the day, when you're honest, 100% of the time, you're going to make money. But I think that at the end of the day, when you're honest, and communicate well and have the conversations and build those relationships the right way. It might not be a perfect scenario all the time, but even at the end of the day, those people like you. They talk they speak highly of you. I mean, I would say referrals are second or third highest.
I would say right now, I feel like.
I mean, and we spend a ton of money on marketing, but
second
referrals is still second or third always.
Which is awesome.
And because at the end of the day, we've done deals that make no money, but it was the right thing to do for those people. Now we make deals. We've had deals that make a ton of money.
Well, and that's a big thing I talk about. So with my business Equity Empire, we're creating an acquisitions course. I've done some coaching for acquisition teams and stuff. And the biggest thing is hell yeah, we're all here to make money. Or else that's why you go to any job or do any business. It's the whole point.
Well, we understand that. Our sellers don't always understand.
Yeah, that's true too. But it's sellers, whether it's real estate or anything else, they can see right through you. They can tell if it's acting or surface level or if you're actually real and genuine. And that's how you're actually going to find a solution, is if you genuinely care about the people you're working with, even if they're a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah, and that happens. But the ability to think outside of the box when somebody is a pain in the ass actually sometimes speaks louder than an easy client.
Right.
That if they're because they know. Yeah, they know. I don't care what anybody says. You know if you're an asshole. You do. You just know if you're an asshole person. I'm not the first person to tell you that at 7 years old. I don't believe it. So
and it didn't just happen overnight.
Absolutely not.
Also true.
Yeah. So Fred, we got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's part of it as well, is that when you're thinking outside the box and you're doing those things, and when it's easy, it's great. But when it's hard and they see you working and genuinely doing the extra steps and extra things, and that's honestly when I've had the best transactions. Even though they were ugly sometimes and painful, and you're not another. But
then you figure it out and you make it work for everyone. And it's it feels like a bigger win.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. The ones that start off that way and are going to be $5,000 deals, you're like, oh, this is going to suck, because you already know it's going to be a triple.
And unfortunately, I mean, most of the time that it's like that, though. I mean, those people are in those positions. They don't have the equity, so it's very low. So it's a mess. But you got to get to those to then be able to walk into the simple ones that are going to be super easy. Yeah,
well,
which is also
sometimes
great.
I feel like people just need someone to be mad at.
Yeah.
A lot of clients I work with, if they're in a really bad situation, we're trying to help out, whatever, they get upset with me for some reason or another. I'm just you know what? Let me be the bad guy.
Yeah.
You need to curse me out or whatever. Have at it.
Yeah. There's part of that is a huge piece to making them to be okay, I got out the stuff I needed to say.
Yeah.
I got that off my chest. I'm
exactly. You got it out of your system. Can we move forward now and talk about a solution?
How many times have I talked to you about how important it is to not be defensive? And
it's changed a ton. I mean, I know a couple deals lately. When I first started, that's how I was. That was probably one of the biggest things that I had to break my mold was
the snapback.
Yeah. Instantly being when they so then instead of, and it's funny because 2 months ago we had something happen and so him and I had a conversation, and I was dealing with another employee's situation, and I saw the snapback, and then I was and I was and I remember saying to you, I was holy shit, this is literally it got resolved so much easier instead of being boom, here's where, and now sometimes you have to be a little.
I mean, you have to be firm, but at the same time, a lot of it is just like you said, they just want to bitch for a second. They just want to air it all out. Some of it's them that they're pissed off at themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. How did I get myself into this situation? I'm
exactly.
You.
And we're doing everything that we can to help you, but you still.
You can lead a horse to the water, right?
Yeah.
But But with what you were saying, like having that self-awareness of how you would have handled that situation differently in the past, and now like a lot of people don't grow because they don't have that self-awareness.
Right.
And I think that's what makes a huge difference, like in all areas of our lives. If we're, whether it's like sales or work or personal relationships,
just anything in general.
If you don't have that self-awareness, like how can you correct your own behaviors and actually be humble enough to say, wow, like I don't want to act like that anymore.
Yeah. No, and I mean, we just spoke about that yesterday, the book.
Yeah.
What
Like,
book? I'm a big reader.
The ways to your
I just had
what is it? Some about the ways to your team ways.
It was a team book. I had everybody on like everybody read together, and it's
a really easy read.
It's
if we can figure out and remember what it's called.
And it's really like how to be a better teammate, but like self-reflecting on yourself, like the things that you need to do. And it's so easy in business, in any job, any career path, when things aren't going perfect to be like, well, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. And
even relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. Yeah. Literally anything.
And to look at that situation and be like, okay, what things, it was 6 traits and then great at the end. So self-respect, honesty, like all humble, humility. There was like 6 different character traits, and we went through them, and we read half the book, and then come back and read.
I love that,
and it went really well. But what we were talking about is that it's so easy for me, like when I'm hiring somebody or we're bringing somebody on, and he's bringing somebody on an acquisitions team or whatever, to be like, oh, me and that person connect. Like this is easy,
Yeah.
Of course, you want a bunch of yous that you can hang out with.
I don't know if I could deal with it.
No, understandable. But, I think I'm fun.
I'd be like, damn, this bitch is up my ass.
Fair.
If there was a bunch of me's or a bunch of Erics, we would be a disaster.
We wouldn't be in business anymore. We know. When I tried to get myself right, he would have been like, no, come over here. We should do this. But no, so like with that, what I said was that it's so easy to have that person that you connect with. Like that person is fine. I can have that. You meet them at an interview. You got 45 minutes. You guys laugh. You're like, oh, this person would be great for the team. Might not be.
Right.
But it's an easy interview. The people that you don't connect with sometimes, like the self-awareness is what changes your ability to lead them. Like if you bring somebody on the team and you guys don't just click.
Yeah.
And they're not like kind of uncertain about your leadership, or they're uncertain about things that you're saying, what you do, how you do it. A lot of people watch and don't talk. Yeah. There's a lot of that. So when I meet somebody, I can have my original thought process on them, which I've tried to like be the least judgmental over the past year of like what I think right away. But I also don't listen to words anymore. Like because it's irrelevant. Words don't really tell the story.
I definitely agree.
But with that, being self-aware as a leader or a manager or anybody changes people's ability to follow you that don't immediately connect with you. And that's what we were talking about was like self-awareness is the biggest thing, because if you are vulnerable and willing to challenge your own thoughts and beliefs as a leader, people that you don't naturally connect with are like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like that person's not just working as a business. Yeah. He's working on himself.
And like one of the things that I practice a lot, like I'm really into like self-accountability and self-awareness. And I think a lot of people aren't, because like it is difficult. Like it's tough to like look at yourself like that sometimes. But for instance, like I get irritated really easily. Like if I ask someone a question or they ask me a question that I feel like they should know the answer to, like if it's work related or something, I immediately like feel that like flare up, like kind of you were talking about like how you used to be. Yeah. And I'm just like, but then I stop and I'm like, well, wait, what did I do or what did I say wrong to have them ask me this question? Maybe I wasn't clear enough, know, and taking that like, okay, well, how can I do this differently so next time they don't feel the need to ask me this question or whatever
Yeah. And is that a lot of what your YouTube channel's about?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very like it's self-development, but I'm also very like spiritually based.
Sure.
So I kind of like mix it all in.
Awesome. Now, do you think so I try to say, I've told you this too, that when I take time to like focus on those things, like actually on a daily basis, which that discipline comes and goes based on my stress level, which is not good.
I think it happens for seasons.
Yes, but you take time to like make those videos and put them out. Do you think that helps you?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, she's.
You could just turn it off.
Our guest forgot to turn off her phone. If anybody is wondering what that is,
that's a first.
No,
yeah, that's all right.
It was an alarm.
No. Oh, was that prior to be here?
Yeah,
it was actually
exactly. Yeah,
no, it was actually just to switch my laundry over.
Oh, okay.
Or yeah.
See,
all right. Well, it's not getting switched over apparently.
Organized though. Yeah. She didn't lie about that.
That's true.
Yeah. If I don't write something down, it does not get done. So I have all the alarms. I have a list of things to do every single day, whether it's like, oh, change the litter box or, oh, call this client. It's like, I have to write it down.
My wife is the same way. And then she always walks away from her phone and it's just like alarm after alarm after alarm. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and it's funny because my favorite ones, and I love you to death if you're watching this, is like, it'll be feed baby, as if we forgot to feed the child. We've been doing it for a year, every day, the same time.
But it's reliable. It's
yeah,
like, I know. Then you, it's like it takes the mental load off a little bit if you know you've already handled it. If you've already taken care of making sure you're going to remember it.
Yeah, but how do you? I'm sorry. I remember to feed my daughter.
You'd think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
right.
guess that's true.
Until
Sometimes I do. Yeah, that's true. She'll let me know, though.
Yeah, for sure. She will let you know.
She will 100% let me know.
I mean, that's fair. But I don't know. I've never set a timer to eat. I've also forgotten to eat.
Exactly. Last week, I did laundry, and I forgot to switch it over, and it was the next day. It was sitting in the washer, not the dryer, and I was like, crap. So then when I did it this morning, I was like, let's not make that mistake again.
Yeah, because you leave it in the washer for 2 days, which I've done.
You just got to rewash it.
Got to rewash it.
Exactly.
That's not going to work. Not throwing that right in the jar. No Bounty dry sheets and fixing that.
Just the breezing.
Yeah, exactly.
The single dab.
Yeah.
Pretty intense over here.
Yeah.
But where were we before her rude phone interrupted us?
We were talking about self-accountability.
Yeah, and like,
oh yeah, so
like doing the videos.
Do you think that helps you? Because I'm assuming that self-accountability, what you do on your YouTube, is intertwined with how you live your life.
Oh my God, yeah.
So taking that time to do that, is it a solid reminder when you're doing the other things in your life that don't always have
so
pressure
this
point on that?
It probably sounds weird, but like sometimes I go back and watch my own YouTube videos if I need a kick in the ass about something.
I get it.
I'm like, I'm like, how do I snap out of this like funky mood I'm in? Oh, I probably did a YouTube video on that. Let me look it up. And then I'm like, yeah, Sarah, you go. I'm like, I'm feeling better now.
I mean, I watch
other YouTube videos.
I watch our podcast. Yeah. Like if
yeah. Hearing it from yourself though, it's like a whole other ballgame.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't like my voice.
No, that's true. But it's all right though,
it sounds really good in my head.
I'm our one view every week. I'm just kidding.
We have more than that. Rude. I'm gonna have to share like crazy this week, I guess. No,
make sure you guys watch.
But it is. I mean, it is. It's fun though to be able to go back and listen to yourself. Like I did that whole series for a long time, Coffee and Cash Deals, and that was fun. Like there was times that we had incredible amount of viewership, and there was times where there was nothing. But from most of the guests that we had, and even the conversations that we had, I can literally go back 5 years ago and be like, "Wow, I was talking about that. Now we're doing that."
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
See, like your
That's
growth
crazy,
in like real time.
Yeah, and you're like,
That's amazing. Like,
I thought that was such a cool thing back then. Yeah.
On my like old YouTube videos when I used to do like the fitness and stuff, like I look at it and I'm like, girl, what were you doing? but then you have to have that appreciation. Yeah. Like some people be embarrassed, like, oh, I should delete this video. It's like, no, like I'm the way I am because of who she was at that time.
Yeah, right. 100%.
You know? And I think like on top of self-awareness, having that self-reflection is just as important, if not more important, and kind of tying it all together. And that's how you grow. But I'm just like addicted to it though. Like that's
the difference between people that are successful and people that are not successful, is being able to understand that. I mean, like you said, to look at that, 5 years back, or to look 5 years back. Like I used to follow, Christian Guzman from YouTube. I used to
funny gal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They just got married. But like I
said I wasn't there.
Like, at the altar or at
no, in the crowd.
Yeah. No, but I used to watch them all the time, and like I used to watch Christian when like he was like at college, just first doing his, and he talks about that a lot. I mean, this dude has done some crazy stuff. If you don't know who he is, okay, and like it's wild to see, and he talks about like where he was to now where it's at, and being able to reflect. And everybody that I know that's ever been successful can look back and say, okay, this is what I did. This is how I need to do it differently to be able to get to that next level.
And the trajectory of life is built on that.
Right.
Like,
it is.
And a lot of people don't ever get to where they want to be because they're scared of what the risks are involved to get there. And they like to talk about it. We've talked about this before as well. It's easy to talk about what you want to do, but when you can actually look back and see decisions that you've made and risks that you took that were like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. And some of them didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and then some, but then some of them are, you're like, wow. I remember when so-and-so told me that wasn't going to work.
And then it does, yeah. And I think a huge issue too is that most people, first of all, they don't know themselves. They don't take the time to like get to know themselves. So,
I talk to myself all the time.
Oh my God, me too.
It's great. I have great conversations. I know me better than anybody.
We're best friends. And, and also on top of that, like victimization. I mean, we all have it from time to time, like we get in that victim mode. But like when you take that radical self-responsibility and accountability, like that is, you have such like full control over your life. And I think people don't realize that, and they sink into this like victim mentality. And it's just like, if you just took responsibility for all the positive and negative things in your life instead of blaming this person or this situation or the area you live in or whatever it is,
for sure,
totally transform your life. And I preach it all the time, and people just think I'm crazy. And I'm just like, you know what? Think whatever you want. I don't really care.
Well, I mean, that's just the world right now. Everybody it's a victim mentality world, unfortunately. And I mean, it's just terrible to see.
Well, it's easier.
Yeah.
It is.
To blame everybody
It's easier
else.
to blame everybody else.
Yeah, because again, looking at yourself and looking inwards and like pulling those negative traits out of you and like healing and all that kind of stuff, like it's icky work.
Yeah.
Yeah. and literally looking in the mirror and be like, I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't have the discipline to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning to go to the gym.
I said, you can be a morning person.
I know.
I literally said that to you yesterday while we were on the phone.
Yeah.
Like,
but you know what, though? On top of that, like, if you do say something like that to yourself, like, oh, I'm lazy or I'm this or whatever, for me, it's like I can be a little judgmental. It's like, yeah, but some people, they'll say that and then it'll drown them even more.
Agreed.
But if you can transform that into like changing it, then it's so effective. But a lot of people will just be like, oh, I'm fat, I need to lose weight, I'm poor, I'm this, I'm that. And they get drowned into that like self-identity.
Right.
And then they get deeper and deeper like in that quicksand where then it becomes near impossible for them to like climb out of.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you said the other day about not being a morning person. I was like, well, you can be a morning person. Yeah. And I said that before we even started that reading this book, is that one of the things that I've seen the most is that pretty much what you just said. So if you set your alarm for 6 a.m., or you set you're going to be at the gym at 6 a.m., you set your alarm at 5:30, and you're going to be there 15 minutes, hop up, throw some water on your face, be at the gym by 6. Every day, you set that alarm for 5:30, and don't wake up at 5:30, you put in your mind the thought process that you can't wake up at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and it further solidifies that.
And you're okay with letting yourself down then.
Mm-hmm.
Like it becomes a constant let down in your mind, and you're just consistently like, okay, well, I'm not gonna wake up at 5:30.
Yeah.
By the end of a 5-day, 2-week period of you being not doing that, the same way you form a habit, you formed a mindset.
Yeah.
You know,
it's also like working with yourself, right? So an example is like, so I lift 6 days a week. Like I'm always at the gym, and I know I'm going to snooze twice in the morning. So I don't put it on myself. Oh, I have to get up as soon as my alarm goes off. I just back it up an extra 20 minutes, knowing that I'm going to snooze twice, and then I know I'll get up.
I set 4 alarms.
There you go.
It's not a joke. I really do. 15 minutes apart from each other, and my snooze goes off at 8. Like 8 minutes in between the 15. So I hear the thing like about 9 times.
17 times. Yeah.
You work with yourself on that.
Yeah, like, because I'm such a deep sleeper.
Yeah.
Like I
see. I'm up, and it's. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday. Like, and it's not even like I get up at 6:45, 7 o'clock. So getting up at 6 o'clock should be super easy. But I don't know what it is.
It's a
like,
mental
what?
block.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that alarm goes off at 6.
You know what you should do? You should get up at 4 a.m. and then 6 a.m. will feel like a dream. You get up at 4 a.m. for like
I do get up at 4 a.m. Sometimes at 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes at 1.
Bust out 300 push-ups.
And then you'll feel like grateful to get up.
Yeah. What I should start doing is when my daughter starts waking me up in the morning, just put her back down and then just go to the gym. Hey, I'm up. Let's do it.
I mean,
there you go. I'll hold you to it.
There's some validity with that.
I mean, it's not a bad idea because by the time, I mean, now she's pretty quick.
Or like you could put the baby on your chest, take her to work out,
laps.
you know.
Oh, we need her to
Leave
sleep.
Michaela, just let her sleep a little bit. You know,
be a good dad. Super dad.
All right, so obviously
just doing bench presses with my baby sleeping on my. All right,
good. Go.
Give me a little push, hon.
Yes, exactly.
Stop me.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take your baby.
Please don't.
Be crushing.
I'll be canceled real quick.
But I mean, it's like taking a dog to the park. I feel like you're not gonna get much working out done.
Or a kid to rudders.
That's not good. I don't even want to jump into that right now. That's not where we're going. Anyway, so let's talk about.
We'll have to tell you about that one.
Not on.
Yeah. I saw the craziest thing at Rudders yesterday. It was insane.
Like,
I mean, it wasn't Rudders, right? I mean, Rudders is.
Yeah.
So I'm like from the Westchester area. We don't have Rudders out there. So I go
you have Wawa.
Yeah. I was like, what is this Rudders place? And I'm like, I don't know, not a place I want to be.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like they provide a better food than Sheetz. But
Oh yeah,
I think,
and they have good grab and go.
they
stuff.
just sometimes put them in little dicey areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're everywhere. Sheetz is like, Sheetz is like, they think like Target, and Rudders thinks like Walmart.
Yeah. True. True.
No judgment. I'm not judging anything.
Or Dollar General. They just put them wherever.
I mean, Dollar General they crush the game. There's no other anything around them when they drop those things.
Yeah.
Except
They're just
themselves.
like, hey, you know what? There's population of 1,000 people here. No stores anywhere. We got you. I feel like that's their management tactic. It works.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about what we have to talk about here real quick.
What is that?
Oh, wow.
What do we have to talk about?
Just the
actual podcast. So, real estate, obviously, is the R in the real podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next is expensive shit. The E, the A is aspirations, and L is life lessons. So we're going to go through a few little questions for you here on how these things have affected your life, things you can share with viewers, and things that have helped you get to where you're at. So
love it.
First and foremost, obviously you've done different things in the real estate world. You're still doing some stuff in the real estate world. How has real estate affected your life? What are you doing with it now, and what are your goals in it?
Yeah, it's definitely changed my life. I'll start off by saying that. So yeah, I never had any interest.
I hired her.
He did. He actually did. Had no real estate experience, although you bailed on me.
I did quickly after, but I put people in place.
But then he got me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Currently real estate's my number one focus. So I'm working over at First Choice. I'm doing acquisitions on market, working with agents, wholesalers. I met with Kate last week.
Sure.
Auctions, that kind of thing. So that's like my main focus right now. And then I also have Equity Empire, where we're developing the acquisitions course, coaching, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what I'm doing currently. As far as like how it's affected my life, I mean, it's completely transformed it. I mean, I never, when I grew up, my family, I would consider us like middle class, lower middle class. So it was never like we were put out on the streets or anything like that. But like, it was always hard, no eating out. Pizza was too expensive. Like it just, the holidays were tough and stressful and that kind of thing. And I just grew up being like, I refuse to live like that. Like, I'm just not going to do it, which is why I came out of acting and modeling full time, was because the money, at least for what I was doing, just wasn't there. So I was like, I just need to change directions and figure out how to make myself feel safer financially and kind of headway my family. And I have 2 younger brothers, and I wanted to show them like, hey, like mom and dad are hard workers. They're such great people, but like there's a different way to do things too. Right. And real estate really allowed me to do that, to buy properties, my own properties, and make investments and learn about money and learn about all types of investing. And it's fun too, because like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I learn every single day. Like I never feel like I stop learning in real estate.
There's always something. Always
on.
Which is why it's fun, because it never gets boring, I feel like. So it's not for everyone though. Yep. I definitely don't feel like it's for everyone. And there's also so many sectors you can go into. Like obviously we're all on the investment sides, but there's so much you can do with it that it can be for a lot of people, just maybe not what we're doing.
Yeah. Right. There's so many niches in this game. Like, it's crazy because we talk to people that do so many different things, and I go to Investor Fuel, and I'll be like, man, how do all these people that are here do all these, from things commercial to buying notes and so many different. Like,
doing a boot camp next week for that. It's like 3 days. I don't know if you guys saw the guys like touring here last week, but they're doing it's like a whole tax lien thing, and I'm like, I don't really know about that. Like, I'll go to that. I'm like such an easy sale. I don't know if you guys are like that, like being in sales. Like I'm such an easy sale. Like,
a good product, I'm willing to listen
and
to
I'm like, this is a 3-day investment. Like I'm gonna do it. Yeah. So we'll learn all about that. Brand new.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a lot of different ways. Like it's blows your mind once you actually get into it. Of, I know some attorneys that do some wild ass stuff with notice to quits and some different things. Yeah. It's just, but. Yeah, there's just a million subject twos to so many different ways to purchase real estate and to build long-term wealth. Yeah. So that's really awesome, and I'm glad that. How long has this journey been in real estate for you now?
So I had a failed real estate business before I met with you originally. So I think it's like 7 years, somewhere around there, 6 years. Yeah.
Nice.
It's been a journey.
Always is.
Yep.
We talk about
steps.
Yeah, you got to fall in love with the journey. The results aren't what you fall in love with.
Yeah, so true.
I like my results.
What?
I said I like my results.
I know, but that's if the mountaintop is the only thing you care about, and you don't get to the mountaintop, the whole rest of it's miserable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the process
you gotta love it. Sometimes the mountaintop looks different when you get there. That's
true. Or it changes.
Yeah. Exactly. There's probably a lot of people that have hiked Mount Everest that felt very happy at 3/4 of the way up.
That was me. Like, all right, cool.
Nope, I love looking at it from the bottom.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
I like looking at it in a helicopter.
Exactly.
See, like
that's my own helicopter.
Different boy. Yeah, exactly. Different mountaintops.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anyway, so next thing we like to ask is, we all have like our different things. I think everybody has like a thing. Hopefully it's not going to be like gambling or OnlyFans, but, it's a setup of, he loves his cars. He likes it. That's what he loves to spend money on. And his garage, and you got a lift the other day, I guess. It's crazy. But
need to make room for more.
Got to make room for more cars.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So what type of stuff do you like spending money on?
It's like, what's my thing?
Expensive shit. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive, but like.
But yeah, what do you? I mean, I see you at those raves. How much?
So that's what I was gonna say. My biggest is definitely like raves, festivals. It's just like, not only is it a good time, but it's like very transformative for your soul. And I feel like people that aren't very aware of the EDM industry just think it's a bunch of people just going and doing stupid shit and doing drugs. But it's so much more than that. Like it has changed my life for the better in so many ways. And the community is so accepting and beautiful. It's like nothing else you've ever experienced. And it's not cheap.
Yeah, I believe that.
It's an expensive hobby for sure.
Where's most of that stuff take place at? Like,
it's all over. So I tend to go
ever been to Burning Man?
Haven't done Burning Man,
what
but
about
I don't.
Tomorrowland?
Not interested in either of those.
Okay.
The reason being, so Tomorrowland.
Those are the ones that people just go.
Just do drugs.
And they're. And not to sound like pretentious, because I don't mean it that way, but like the mainstream festivals, Ultra, which I had to do this year, EDC, Tomorrowland, all that stuff, they don't really know so the EDM community, there's something called PLUR, PLUR, peace, love, unity, respect. It's supposed to be like the basis of the entire community.
Sure.
But you have to be taught it, like, to come into the community. And a lot of people that go to these festivals, they don't go with someone who's in the community, so they're not taught the right way. Yeah. And so they are the ones that are ODing and going too crazy and all that kind of stuff.
For them, it's just a big party.
Right, exactly. And it is a good time.
Of course.
But...
I didn't think it wasn't not a good time. Based on those outfits, I'm pretty sure.
But there is like a right way to do it, I believe. And going with someone that is very involved in the community is the way to do it.
Makes sense.
I go to probably like festivals, like 3 or 4 a year.
And how long are they?
They're usually
what's
like
the difference
3 to 4 days.
Between, so you say festivals as opposed to what?
So a rave is just like a concert.
Okay.
It's just like a one night, one day thing. Where
so like
festivals are
my
like...
college days.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Except there was a lot of drugs there.
I mean, there definitely are.
There was no PLUR.
Exactly.
No PLUR.
No PLUR.
No, none of that.
There might have been some peace and love, but there was no respect.
There you go. Exactly.
Sorry.
So many things to say to that. Anyway,
that was way back.
Well, you went.
That was.
You went right for the
long time ago.
Okay. So next would be aspirations. Like, what's the next 5 years of your life look like in your mind? Obviously, I think it sounds like you do a lot of, like, probably manifesting and a lot of different. Hey, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to do. Obviously, real estate. Things that you love probably fall into that, and plus acting and different things. So what's that look like in the future for you, next 5 to 10 years?
Next 5 to 10 years. So I'm like really happy with life right now. Like I just feel like I'm in a really good spot. Everything's going my way. So really I just want to, expand on that and deepen all of those areas, right? So like some things, because I do have so many different avenues, I can't pay attention or focus on all of them at once, kind of like we were talking about earlier. So I would love to get a little more of a balance. I haven't been on my YouTube channel in a few months because I needed to laser focus on the real estate stuff. So I'd love to bring that back in and expand on that. I want to get into short-term rentals, Airbnbs, that kind of stuff. I haven't done that yet, and I really want to.
Do you have long-term rentals now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I like have this dream of buying Airbnbs like in a lot of vacation spots.
So that you can
make money, use an investment, and then use them.
Yeah.
Friends, family, whoever, and just being like a hub where people that in my life that I love can like go and use, but then I can also make money off of them.
Right.
100%. Like I I tell my dad that all the time. Like, they go to Florida for 4 months, and I'm like, for the longest time, I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, buy something. Kimber, we're gonna have to have a conversation, Kimber.
What?
Maybe if we both take him down, 2 against 1, he'll finally understand.
Listen. Like, I'm like, even if you break even on a property like that, like at the end of the day, it's not costing you $25,000.
Yeah,
right.
To stay there for 4 months. Like, what?
Yeah.
Even if you lose $3,000.
Yeah, it's
for the
better
year.
than
It's better than what it's going to cost. Yeah.
Because I mean, they go at the place at the time that everybody wants to be there. You know what I mean? December, like
so it's costing more even. Yeah.
So to rent it during the summer and like those types of times, it doesn't bring as much value as it does when they're there.
Right.
But at the same time, it's free if you.
Yeah. Well, then you add in, tax breaks and write-offs and appreciation and all that stuff too. You're like, no, I've been through it already.
You hear this? Anybody sending this one to Papalaccio?
Yeah, seriously.
Kimber, let's listen to 3 people that do this. Yeah, so that it is, but that is, I think, once you get into this, that's always been my goal too. Is I want to have at least 5 to 6 city Airbnb, like not city, but like different areas where people can travel and still make money, and I could bounce around. I don't think I'd have a house.
Exactly. You go here for a few months, you go there for a few months, like
rent it out the rest of the time.
Dream.
Yeah.
The dream.
It's actually not it.
I
think that's the one thing.
1 bedroom apartment in suburban. When I come back and be like, this is big house.
Whatever.
I'll
rent one to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'll rent one to you. Perfect.
Thanks. Perfect. So that's awesome. Those are awesome aspirations.
Any other big ones?
Not really, honestly. I mean, hopefully this movie takes off. It's called Jasper. So We'll see, though. I mean, it's been pushed back for a few years now. COVID got in the way for a while. Financing, when you're putting a film this big together, it's a lot of stuff that can get in the way. So I'm hoping that actually comes to fruition.
Is that the one, or maybe that's Jesper or something? I watched one. It's like a
trilogy.
clown.
Hasn't been shot yet.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I feel like it was.
Is it the one that I've already watched? No, it's not that one.
All right, I thought it was maybe around like the same thing.
Were we on the same podcast today?
Yeah, but whatever. This guy. Oh no, that was just the guy's name.
Yeah, not Casper.
No, not Casper.
Casper the Ghost.
No, it was like, I forget what it was. It was some like weird serial killer clown thing.
Well, it hasn't.
No clowns in this one.
Okay,
and make it so much worse.
Gotcha.
I'm already not going to be able to sleep at night filming it. So. Yeah, I would say that's really it. It's just really compounding on everything going on right now, and then filming would be awesome.
Nice.
So, like, quick about that movie, since this guy doesn't listen. No. Is it already in a stage in which somebody's already taking it on? Yeah. Or is it like...
Well, sort of. Yes and no. There's a few different companies that are taking it on. It's on like IMDb and everything already. Like they have it all set up. For a while, they were talking to Lionsgate, so it was like, I was like, holy shit.
Now, does it depend on, obviously, the finished product? Mm-hmm. Like when they send it off at that point?
It's honestly such an intricate process. And there's so many pieces that I don't even think I could sit down and explain it to you because I don't even understand.
I don't need to know. If it takes that long, I could kill it.
I'm like, I'm not really sure. My producer updates me multiple times a week, so I'm always like aware of what's going on. But even sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Just tell me where to go.
Tell me when I need to be on set.
Why do I need to crawl on the floor?
Exactly. Send me the script. Let me learn my lines. Tell me where to be, and I'll be there.
Fair. All right. And last but not least, I think this is like always a good one. Things you've learned throughout your career that have, or just life in general, that have put you in the position you are now, and also just one thing that if somebody was listening and they either are in a position where they're not sure what they're doing or just dealing with challenges and obstacles, things that have got you to a place where you are the happiest you've ever been, and enjoying life. Because I feel like in a world of instant gratification, social media, and everything else, a lot of people don't really do well in reality.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but just give us a few different life lessons that you hold dear, and then maybe something you want to share with us.
Yeah, it's a great question. The biggest thing for me is, we've been joking around about all these jobs I've had and how I've bounced around. It's not that serious, right? Like, everyone takes everything they do so seriously. It's the end all be all. You got to have all your ducks in a row. You have to have one passion in life, and that's all you can do, and you can't ever deviate from that. And the thing is if I didn't take all of these risks and do all these random weird things, then like I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Sure.
Right. So I feel like one of the things I say is that people can ask you, like, what's the worst case scenario? If you take this risk, what's the worst case scenario that happens? And most people will tell you, I'll fail and I'll end up like back where I am. And I'm like,
you're already there.
So you're living your worst case scenario. If that's the worst that can happen, why not take the risk? Whether that's a business or a relationship or whatever it may be, it's kind of like that. Like, to me, I'm like, are you listening to yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's like being adaptable and being open to change and like changing what your goals are. I had zero interest in real estate. I went to a Tony Robbins event, took my mom for Mother's Day, and some random dude gave a presentation on real estate investing. And I was just like, I think I want to do that. And so I just went down the path, and like, here I am.
That's awesome.
So it's kind of just like, people say like, oh, you have to do this one thing and stick with it your whole life. And people change throughout their lives. And so your desires, your needs, all these things are also going to change.
Right.
And so I think people like kind of fight, and that's why they get stuck, is because they're not willing to adapt and kind of roll and flow with the changes of life.
Agreed. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think we've said this now numerous times. I still love this quote when Russ gets interviewed by Jay Shetty. And he's like, what if it all ends up being better than you could have ever dreamed?
So
it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
so
often people are like, what's the worst that could happen? Yeah, that's the worst. But what if it all ends up being the more than you can even picture in your mind? Right?
Yeah.
So true. And I think that's such an incredible way to look at life, because
it's just not that serious.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like, my friends will be like, so like, what are you doing nowadays? Like, my closest friends, like, what are you doing for work? Because they are never like, and I'm like, just what I feel like doing right now.
But it is crazy. Like, I mean, you said, bouncing around, and like the stigma back in the day, like growing up, I remember my parents were always like, oh, you want to be somewhere and you want to be there for a certain amount of time, and then like you don't want to be bouncing. But like, even like people our age, like I know you said you're 30, I'm 32, you're, I don't know, 50 something or whatever. And it's like the amount of
37.
Yeah, whatever. So you're a little older, but like you can just, now it's a lot more accepting, because especially with like younger people, it's like, okay, well,
some people don't offer pension plans, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these people were stuck into unions and all this crazy stuff for the longest time, where
exactly
it helped you to stay there. Like, unless you work for the state or school district or something like that,
you don't really get that anymore.
There's a few places, Harley. Is that a brand people wear? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a surfer brand.
Yeah, I think it's just not being I mean, you can be afraid, but it's not letting the fear like take away from you taking action and experimenting. Yeah. Even within like my spirituality practices, I've like tried weird things. And, like,
the thought process in your mind right now while you were saying that was just hilarious to watch.
Okay.
Like, like
also something I'm pretty sure we're not going to talk about. Like,
you just have to try different things to know what works for you and what doesn't,
Definitely.
Like, I was, for example, like raised very Catholic, and then I like strayed away from that, and I got into like crystals and all that shit, and then I found my way back to Christianity, and then I kind of found a way in the middle. And it's just like, people are so structured and like set in their ways, and it's kind of just like, how do you know what you like or what you don't like unless you try it?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just like, just everyone's,
and most people are like
chill.
Not okay with, like, they're like, I don't know if I feel like people just say, okay, this is right, this is wrong all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, like, there's some things that I just, it is what it is. Your morals, beliefs, standards of like life are what they are. Like you go to a third world country, life is not that important.
Right.
In some places, like they just be chopping people's heads off.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably not going to work.
And she's crawling around. Apparently.
Yeah.
trying to find them. But dear God. But no, I 100% agree. Like I think that there is a peace in being able to just be like, this isn't the end of end all. Like if this is all gone tomorrow, like I can figure it out.
Well, most people that don't, I mean, we've all been successful in life. So like for us, I feel like it's a little bit different too. Like if somebody who has never done anything, that's always, like you said, that's always their first answer is, what if I fail? Or what if something happens? Or what if I'm back to where I'm at? Like for me personally, like I know if I'm going to go off and let's just say work-wise, like so, God forbid something happened to the business and, you know, whatever the case may be. And it's like, okay, well, we all took these plunges or whatever. What are you going to do?
I'll figure it out.
I'll make money tomorrow. I know how 100%. At this point in my life, I know how to go out tomorrow and still be able to make a living. Yeah. Like I it's going to be fine.
But you have that inner like trust in yourself,
right.
And because you know yourself, right? If people don't, then they just let it consume them.
The other part of that is like, yes, I can make money tomorrow, but in those types of situations, I'm not too good for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that, like, that's fine. Like, you want to start me at the bottom of this pole? I'll be at the top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
exactly.
Like, that's the belief of, like, oh, well, I hate dealing with people that, like, I've been unemployed for, like, a year and a half. And I'm like,
bruh.
I'm like, bro, go flip burgers at Burger King.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm not doing that. You're not doing anything.
Like it's almost like, why not?
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, like even with like a job like that, or maybe someone's like ashamed or they think they're above it or whatever it may be, you don't know who you're gonna meet at a job like that. Whether it's a customer or someone coming through the drive-through or whatever, like you don't know unless you like put yourself out there and do weird shit.
Yeah. I mean, well, without a doubt. And like, but at the
can't
same
do
time,
too weird a shit.
With that, fair.
Everyone has their baseline. You know?
Yeah. True. But even with that, like I think about back to the restaurant days. I'd bartended. I'd done lots of different things. But like when I found out I was doing some crazy stuff at that point. But when I found out that I was having a kid, I literally the next day was at Perkins trying to get a job. Then I was at Texas Roadhouse. And honestly, those 6 months of my life helped me have a work ethic that I don't even know if most people can even fathom it. I was at Perkins at 5:30 in the morning. I cooked from 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. Then I would come home for an hour, get a shower, and I'd be back at Texas Roadhouse serving and bartending from 3:45 to close.
Yeah.
And that sounds crazy because both of those, but I wasn't too good for that. I was 23 years old.
Right.
And I was like, I don't think I want to smell like bacon, egg, and cheese like for the rest of my life. No. But like at that point, it was what I needed to do to be able to make myself get up in the morning, stop hustling, stop doing like crazy, wild stuff. But, and it worked, and I used to work in 12, 14 hours a day. So it wasn't anything when I was
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's just awesome to see some of this here, obviously from you today, have that mentality about life of just like, it's not that serious.
It's
like,
really not.
And
we're all going to die.
It's very true.
Enjoy the ride while you're here.
I 100% agree. And just hearing about the different things that you got going on, we wish you the best of luck. And
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You're very welcome. And everyone else, tune in next Monday as well for The Real Podcast with Eric Latchall and Nico DiGiorno. But one more thing. Sorry, guys. If somebody wants to reach out to you, wants to get a hold of you, socials, where do they need to find you?
Yeah, so on everything I am, and this goes along with everything I've been saying, Sarah Weber Limitless. My word.
Limitless. It works.
Yep.
I practice what I preach.
Guys, if you need to reach out to her, you can find her there. And we hope that you will continue to check in with us on the Real Podcast. Thanks again. Have a great day.